Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Women in Hospitality, Stereotypes, Success, or Status Quo. I have an eclectic panel here with me with over 150 years of experience. Please don't get intimidated by that. And only in an all-ladies panel discussion would your screen look as vibrant as we are looking today. So welcome this afternoon. And I'm going to start with a question which actually might be an antithesis to this whole discussion that we are having here. And my question is, do you really think that Women's Day, women's empowerment, gender equality, these are topics of yore, or are they still relevant in today's world? Ritu, can I have you take that question first? And I must tell our audience that Ritu is the managing director for the design firm Total Integrated Design India Private Limited, and she's been at the helm of the company for several years. So Ritu, please throw us some light on this uncomfortable question.
Good afternoon, Annika and fellow panelists, and good afternoon, everyone on the call. It's interesting. I think it's very relevant today, even though, personally, I don't think gender when I myself am out there at work, but I think it's an important discussion. And just as we celebrate other, events, why not? I mean, why shouldn't we applaud ourselves as well? So I think it's something that does warrant discussion and celebrations.
Okay, so Vandana, over to you. Do you think these jargons are overrated, or do we really need to have these conversations?
Hi, Annika, and hi, fellow panelists. Happy Women's Day to all of you. So as an urban woman of today who's had equal opportunities, who has a career, who's an entrepreneur, I don't see it very relevant from my perspective. But when I think through this for the women of our country in particular, and largely for the women who are in rural India, I think it's still a very relevant topic. And largely because I feel that women need to be a part of policy making in our country at the top level, because we are 50% of the population, and we need enough representation at at all industry events, in organizations, at corporate levels. So I think we are still underrepresented, and we still have men deciding for us on what is right for women. So from that perspective, I think it's very important to keep discussing this, to keep encouraging women to follow their dreams and to be go-getters and get there and show us, who they truly are, and not just, let someone sort of take their dreams away. So I do think it is still relevant, not as much for me, but for a lot of women who need that encouragement.
Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Vandana Saxena, founder of Studio 4, giving her real perspective on this question. Meena, over to you. What do you think? And I've known you personally. I know that you're a very strong woman. What do you think about this?
First of all, Annika, thank you for having me here. And I also want to say I'm not intimidated with the 150 years of experience, because I take majority of that. So majority part of that is contributed to me. So I have 4 decades in the hospitality. So if you're talking about stereotypes, well, first let me say that I think a woman's place is everywhere. And for sure, I believe in that. There are stereotypes definitely, and it is definitely changing. I mean, that's the way we are born. We still have the pink and blue nurseries. We still have the dolls and cars differences, in our childhood. We still have, girls wear frocks and men wear pants. And that's something that leads on to men being the breadwinners and women being the caregivers in the house. But it is changing, and it is definitely changing, because as we grow up, I think, and as we are growing up now, we are realizing that definitely a woman has a very equal place. And I think, we definitely can be stronger than what we are. I think, women are definitely more effective in many roles. And I wouldn't say they are stereotypes, because we are inherently more warm, we are more effective, we are more sensitive by nature. So we can be very good caregivers. However, I think we are not really kind to ourselves. If you look at the effectiveness rating of women, I think we rate much higher than men. However, when we do self ratings, we do not come to that level. So I think we need to be kinder to ourselves, and to be confident, and to feel that we are strong enough and we can occupy any seat in an office. It's not just certain stereotype roles. But coming back to hospitality, yes, I've also in these 4 decades faced this kind of a problem, because I'm always told that, oh, a woman makes a very good PR manager. I personally have never agreed with that, and I had to fight to explain this to the rest of my colleagues in the boardroom, who could be men or women both, that that's really not true, because anyone can do a job well. Jobs are definitely gender agnostic. It just depends on how well you do that particular job. It depends on you as a person. Are you interested in doing that job or not? And can you really make a career out of that job? Thank you.
Fantastic. That's Feisty Forever Meena Bhatia, Vice President and General Manager, Le Meridian, New Delhi, for you. Thank you for that insight. I've been thinking about what you said, and when women are entering the hospitality industry, if you just look at the allocation of women in an IHM or an ISH, or for that matter, any other hospitality educational institute, the numbers are not so lopsided at the entry. What happens along the way that there is such a severe funneling as we go along the top? What happens? What are we doing wrong? Maybe, Vaishali, because you are from operations, tell us what must be happening along the way that we are missing out at the end of the funnel.
Hi, good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for having me over here. Thanks to you and Pratisha. The problem over here, what I see is when they participate, okay, when they do hotel management or they do craft courses, the entrance level, and there are females who enter into this. There are females who sit for campus interviews also. There are females who apply from smaller positions in the hotels. Gradually what happens is after 2 years or 3 years, when we look at from associate level to developing them to team leader positions, or for say supervisory job, or for executives, we need to have a proper planning. So somewhere there down the line, I feel that people have a doubts on them, that okay, if we put them as a at a managerial level, will they be able to cope up with the men's or not? That stereotype is still not gone out of the industry, what I feel. So if you see, for example, if you would say, if you give a gentleman or a lady as a duty manager's position, okay, so most of the hotels would prefer men, but today the era is still changing. I mean, out of 4 you will have at least 1 or 2 females, because they feel, I mean, the face of the front of the house as a female is better. But there is where the challenge is. And when the peer pressure is there, or when the colleagues are not helping them, or there is no proper path given to them, or career growth given to them, there is where what we are lacking at. But then there are few females who really take it as a challenge. They develop themselves by learning it. Okay, we're not going to someone saying, hello, can you teach me? They stand on their feet, they wait for long hours in the hotel and try to learn and develop themselves. That is where you see today, I mean, we have a couple of females in this session also. That's how they must have reached. That is what I believe, because I myself is from a front office background. Okay, reaching to this position today, it means you need to have basic corrects of all the departments. So you need to see what is your career path or career growth that you want, where you want to be today. Okay, so this is where I feel the mid management level, okay, there is where there is a lapse. There is where we need a real push, because down the line when we take females in say management trainee, or when they are job trainees or they're ITs, they do good job. It is not they are not performing. It is when they are going to a mid level, when if you see, when you have to make someone Earlier it was like, women's only used to be a housekeepers. But now you see females have also come as a front office managers, as a sales managers, even in accounts also. People used to not take accounts females, but now most of the hotels, I mean, they prefer female being an accounts manager as well. They are
We
also
have
being developed because
our
yeah.
attention to detail is unparalleled, isn't it? So thank you.
Yeah.
That's Vaishali Momaya for you, ladies and gentlemen, General Manager Operations, the Fern Hotels and Resorts. Thank you, Vaishali, for giving us a perspective. Archana, you are from the Indian Hotels Company Limited, and I know that we both belong to the fraternity of TAS, Tata Administrative Services. So you worked across organizations in the Tata Group. What is the perspective you can throw on this, that when we start out there seemed to be an equal distribution of women, but it kind of dwindles away as we move towards the top? What is the reason? What are we doing wrong?
Um, First of all, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. Now, coming to the question, I think a big reason why women drop away midway through is because once you reach midlife, you decide to start a family, and then you need support systems around you. It's not always that you're able to get that perfect support system around you, that you're able to balance your work as well as your career. Some people are more fortunate than others. They have parents, in-laws, spouses who are very supportive. They have workplaces that are supportive. So I think a large part, at least, in the entire managerial cadre, I think the reason people drop off is less because that opportunity isn't there. I think, at least I think at the corporate office level, I don't think opportunity is such a big problem. I think it's more whether you're able to balance your family life and your work life, and whether there are enough support systems for you to go out and work. I think that is probably a big reason why I've seen people around me, taking a break. Now, once they take the break, it's then tough to come back because you've lost out on a couple of years. So I think if organizations can have mechanisms in place to aid women through those crucial years, that would be a big help. For instance, at Indian Hotels, a couple of years back, we started a daycare at every hotel and the corporate office. And that was huge. I mean, we saw so many women. I mean, I'm a beneficiary of that too. There was a time when my second child was born, and I was thinking, should I take maybe a year or two off? And when the daycare started at the office, it just magically made life so much simpler. So I think there are like Meena said, that, traditionally we've always been seen as the primary caregivers. That is changing. But in the first couple of years, when you go the family route, the stress is far more on women than it is on men. And if you can help women through those years with maybe a little flexibility, or with initiatives like a daycare, I think that will go a long way to see not just that they don't leave their careers, but you also get some unflinching loyalty.
Okay, so what I hear is a two-pronged approach. One is internal for the woman herself to have a little more resilience to pass through those difficult years. And second is some incremental support from outside, say in terms of an organization lending a helping hand, right?
And I think it's important for women to form that relationship around them, from help, daycares, family, so that you have a nice, mutually beneficial, symbiotic relationship with all those around you, so you can get through those years.
Okay, great, great. That's Archana, Ram from Taj Hotels, Vice President Development, speaking to you. I would like to pose this question to Meena as well, coming from hardcore operations, a very stressful, assignment, I must say, Meena, all your life you've undertaken. What is your take on this? Because you would have seen hundreds of women falling off midway during that period that Archana mentioned. What is your observation?
Well, yes, I think women get a bit vulnerable at that time because they're torn between the family and the work, between the responsibilities of bringing up a child. And also, I must admit that even I went through this phase, and I almost also gave up because, also when you deliver a baby, you have this postnatal depression where you are unable to, cut the cord very quickly. So, and when I had a little one who's now 26, there were not so many facilities available. We did not have good daycares. The whole yellow book, those times the yellow pages was your Google for us. So the yellow pages had only 2 listings of daycare centers in the whole of the city. One which was not a daycare at all, and one was just a lady who was accompanying her husband to work and wanted to do something. So most unreliable facilities, but I still took that option because it was closer to workplace. And I would leave my daughter there and go back and fetch her at 6 o'clock sharp. Otherwise, she would fire me off very soon, and that happened. So me and my daughter were like a suitcase duo. I traveled with her almost everywhere. Whatever I bought for my daughter was bought in 2 parts. So one went into the suitcase because everywhere we traveled, we had everything ready. So unpack in a hotel, the sterilizer, the water bottle, changing thing, the mechanism, the diapers, everything came out immediately. And we could manage. Of course, somebody said, the families are important, and my mother traveled with me most of the times. But even if she didn't, I knew how to get my way in hotels. So yes, there were difficult times, but my husband has been, that's the only reason that I was not vulnerable. In fact, my husband pushed me back to work, and he said, you can't just give up a career because we are here to look after her together. And my daughter's proud of that today. And she's, I hope that, she takes me as a role model. She's also a professional, and she's proud of me. And I think that this whole thing added to her personality, because today she's an independent girl. She's very strong. She's very motivated to make a career. And I think, well, God bless her. I hope she makes the best of it.
Great. So all you would-be general managers, if you are at that inflection point where you're ready to probably give up, please be inspired by Meena's story. Have a suitcase handy with everything double. Okay. Okay. I would like to redirect one question to Momita. Momita, of course, is the Vice President Sales for Royal Orchid Hotels. Momita, welcome to the webinar. And I have a very different question for you. I would like to understand from you whether you think the industry needs a gender audit, in terms of how we run hotels, how we sell hotels, how we use hotels. Do you think the hotels are really something which is amenable to the use by women travelers and women employees?
Good evening to all of you. Thank you for having me here. Now, before I start this, I really have a problem with the term men and women as separate genders. For me, there is only one word, which is a professional. For me, when you are working for a company, you're just a professional. You're not a man or a woman. Yes, taking cue from that, I would like to point out that, yes, we definitely need to audit and understand that why at the top level, we have such few women representatives when we can have more. It's not that we are not having enough qualified women in our country or elsewhere worldwide, but definitely I feel, Anika, that there has to be an audit done as to why we as women are losing it out at the top level. One reason may be the reasons that the earlier question, which was addressed by Meena and Archana, there is a filter which happens, and obviously when you move towards the top, there is a pyramid which is created, and therefore the options are less. You have less women available at the top, and obviously then the obvious choice becomes is that you tend to tilt towards one side of the professionals than the other side because the numbers are less. So audit definitely is required at this point of time. When we are all talking about it, there is Women's Day, then you have Men's Day, you have Father's Day, Mother's Day, all days we are trying to celebrate. So when we are celebrating all days, then everybody has to be given equal importance. And I think we are in the right track with all of us, leading the team, the professional team on the other side of the gender. I think we will be there, but there is a lot of hard work to be done. I mean, there's a lot work to be done till we reach that goal. And audit may be one of the stepping points.
Okay, so what I'm taking away is a gender agnostic approach. That's a very, very brave point. So thank you for that, Momita. Ritu, I would like you to draw some, thought process on this from a design perspective. Do you think hotels need to be designed for better approachability from an employee and a user perspective as far as women are concerned? Do you think we need to do that?
Thank you for that question. So from a design point of view, I don't think it has that, that impact of for the employee and the, so let's say starting from employment, yes, we definitely have to overall improve or rather be cognizant of the fact of staff areas. So one of the things which I think the brands are particular about, and we're very happy when the brand started asking us as designers to include back areas in our design scope. Earlier, it would simply be front of house, and we would also look at the front of house, and back of house was left to the facility planner to be planned from a practical or operational requirement. But the brand started bringing in this requirement saying that, no, we want the staff lockers and the cafeterias and interactive zones, recreation zones, training zones to be designed as well. And I think that that is very important. So there, I don't see it as, a male locker or a female locker. It's important for both. From a guest point of view as well, one thing I think very important in all areas, probably not yet seen in hotels. We're doing it for malls where we have the feeding room or the caregiver's room. It could be male or female. It's unisex in a mall. And internationally, it's done in different areas. So that is absent in hotels. Why not bring that into the hotel spaces as well? Because you do have guests coming to use the restaurant or the banquet hall. So that is something which should come in. And in terms of safety aspect, yes, we have done guest rooms where we've put in door phones, video door phones. Like you have in a home, we've put them in certain rooms for women's safety. So that is where I would probably say, in answer to your question, that it is good to have it. This was done in the Keys Hotel when it was owned by Berggren Group a long time back, actually, almost I think 2008 or 2010. And it was a few 20 odd rooms. So I thought that was very, very important because again, like I said, now most of us are traveling as business women, we travel, we're used to it. But then there are some who probably want that comfort of extra security or safety. Or if I'm going to a new city where I may not feel comfortable for any reason, would like to have the option. So since I'm used to traveling, I am okay to stay in any room. But there may be women who do want that extra safety or security. So I think that is one thing which should come in from a practical point of view. In terms of facilities, I would say we have done a dressing area for one of the hotel owner-run brands, which I thought was also very good. And again, now this was a brief which interestingly came from the owner. And I think it works for both, because when you're dressing up, even a man needs to see himself in a formal way or in your full length mirror. So I thought that dressing area was something which was very interesting, which can be there. So there are some nuances, yes, which definitely are considered. But I think again today, male grooming is as important to female grooming. So when I'm looking at lighting, I'm not thinking lighting for women. I'm thinking lighting overall for anyone. And I think that is where
in our next hotel stays, we will be able to drape a sari more comfortably, is what you're trying to say.
Definitely, yes, that is very important.
That's great. Fantastic. So the next question I have is for Vaishali. Vaishali, tell me what do you think are the roles that women are not taking up and you would want to see more women in that function?
I would want people, women's taking up the roles into operations more. I mean, like F&B. I mean, today, if you see in good standalone branded restaurants and all, there are females who are as an F&B managers, which the industry is still lacking. There are executive chefs, which they have started. I mean, hotels have started getting executive chefs as a female, which I think should be more because they are strong and tough enough to handle people. And since they are cooking at home also, okay, so they have that element in them which they can handle. I think these are two areas where women should take up the roles more majorly. And to break down as only as executive housekeepers, they should even look at something like in IT department also, where we see less of females working. But it is a good scope where women can be brought up into hotels in IT department.
Okay, so
These
I
are
hope
the
managers and HR directors are listening to what Vaishali is saying, and I do hope we get to see more women in those roles. Vandana, what do you think about this? What is your aspiration for women?
From the career I am in, which is largely around design, we see a lot of women. So I don't miss seeing women here. But, when I go on a hiring spree looking for people in ancillary functions like, say, design assistants or visualizers, I find more men resumes come in.
Mhm.
I would like to see women bending more towards technology, as Vaishali also mentioned. And also, probably the finance function is where I see women lacking. So, yeah, these two. But we are, I think, a more women driven, industry when it comes to design. So, not really
Good and
something we.
but on the technology front. So thank you,
Yeah.
Vandana. As far as the finance role goes, I must point out that in our organization at Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, our CFO is a lady, Michelle Allen, and also our regional head of finance for EMEA is also a lady, Janice Tichner. So I think some things we might be doing right out at this part of the world. Meena, what do you think about this? Which are the roles you want in your hotel a woman to take up? Maybe security.
Why not? Definitely. I mean, if they can be in the army and fly planes, then why not?
Yes.
Definitely, that would be really interesting. And I think uh, definitely they can do a better, good job, equally good job, if not better. Most certainly, executive chefs, I would love to see that happen. Not just because, I mean, yes, one reason is that we're good at, supposed to be good at cooking. I don't know. I can't say that about myself, but yes. Yes, but we are good at managing teams, and kitchen is a big team.
Yeah.
I think definitely kitchens, why not engineering? I've seen some hotels now have girls as chief engineers, which is very interesting. And I think, yes, equally good because women are, we see so many girls as leading in engineering roles. So why not in a hotel? So we would definitely like to see that. But incidentally, also, I'm sure, Anika, you know, and everybody knows that we are finding it very difficult to find girls for the hospitality industry. So at the moment, I think the challenge is on the other side also because there are very fewer girls who want to join the industry. And I think that has to do with the fact that the hospitality industry is really not much sought after because of, I think, the unsocial work hours or the, very high demanding work cycles, etc. So, and one of the initiatives that I would like to take as part of on behalf of a community of women is to go and do some counseling, career counseling in early years in colleges and schools to talk about hospitality because I think it is a brilliant industry and it makes you not only just, it doesn't prepare you just for a particular job in a hotel or in a travel agency or a tour operation, but I think it's a very multifaceted career and you can branch off to so many different industries from hospitality. So I would encourage a lot of young girls to join this industry.
Great. Okay, Momita, can you share any short anecdote on where you thought you broke a stereotype or gender stereotype, or you helped someone else break it? like a short anecdote if you can share with us.
Meena has just addressed it in my earlier assignment. Uh, there was I was fighting to hire a female as an engineer, as a chief engineer, and because of being in the Middle East, there is always a taboo for certain kind of taboo on women there. And the owners, as you know, in the Middle East, is obviously a local, and then you have your management company who's. So I really had to fight and get that chief engineer, that girl, and but I managed to hire her, and she did an excellent job. So that was the first chief engineer that was hired in the Taj Palace, Dubai. So
Okay.
that is where it broke the stereo. And Taj, you see, it carries their tagline only says she's the Taj. So it is a hospitality industry. I started my career from there, where I've never faced this this stereotyped gender discrimination, because all my life I have only been reporting to women bosses, and it started right from the top. So I have actually not faced it until I came back to the country after 10 years, and then the entire fight started. So yes, that was a stereotype which I actually managed to break, and I now hear that there are more who have joined the department.
That's wonderful. That's an inspiring story. I'm sure for all those mechanical engineers out there, I'm sure they're listening, and the girls will be inspired to join a hotel as a chief.
So when, just a moment, so when Meena said about this engineering part of it, so I really related to it, that this is one place where we do not look at women at all.
Very true. Very true. Great insight. So next question is directed for Vandana. So Vandana, what do you think that's one quality that sets us apart from our gentlemen colleagues, and which actually makes us more effective? Because as Meena said, our effectiveness scores are very high. So let's find out why our effectiveness scores may be high. What do you think is that one quality that sets you apart, for example, or gives you an edge?
So I feel qualities are more individualistic rather than, gender specific. But if I was to talk in general, I think women tend to be more balanced as individuals. So they are not just, analytical. They also have the soft skills sort of aligned with their analytics, which gives them a more balanced perspective when they're in a certain critical situation, or when, they're taking a call on something. And I find myself also similar. Secondly, I do feel women are more dedicated. They are able to see a job through. So if they're, delegated a task, they're able to see that they sort of reach the end of the task. Whereas I find men tend to sort of dwindle and lose focus. So yeah, I think these two things primarily.
Okay.
I don't believe in the sensitive aspect. I think women these days are very strong. And I think they're more balanced than being sensitive.
And more so,
Overly
sensitive and strong can go hand in hand, right? That's another way of looking at it.
Yes, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both sides.
Yeah, it's so I think Vandana is a sharpshooter. She's very clear about what she has in mind, and she shares it unabashedly, and that's the whole objective of this webinar. So thanks, Vandana. My next question is directed to Archana. Archana, do you think women are emotional leaders, and if so, is it a boon or a bane?
To be honest, Anika, I think taking over from what Momita said in the beginning, I'm also very strongly of the opinion that your leadership style is a function of your circumstances and your upbringing. I don't think it is so gender specific. And if traditionally women were known to be more emotional and more empathetic, it's also because they were probably in circumstances where, sometimes if you've gone through something, you empathize more with it. So, they face situations in their lives which probably made them more empathetic going forward. So I think it's important today for everybody to have a certain amount of EQ, emotional quotient, whether you're a man or a woman. And given if you have people working in your team who are good at their jobs, in order to retain them, given the amount of opportunity there is, the person needs to have a little bit of an emotional connect, because getting a 10% raise or a promotion in another job is very easy. The only way you can retain your people is if there is some emotional connect. So I think it's important for managers, men or women, to have that emotional connect. Like I said, maybe because of circumstances, and because you have probably been in situations, and or been a victim of maybe some situations, that you're probably emotionally stronger. But I think that's a little more traditionally. I think in today's day and age, I don't like to typecast women, because I think it also is a little negative. For example, if you say women are known to be empathetic and better listeners, tomorrow if you have a woman who's assertive, she's seen as pushy and aggressive, because women are meant to be, listeners. They are not pushy. And you never look at a man first up and say, you know what, he's aggressive. You say he's assertive. But if a woman is assertive, she becomes aggressive. So I think somewhere, because we start typecasting ourselves, we fall into our own it's we fall into our own pit. So I think it's important for all men and women to be have some EQ, be emotionally strong. And I don't think it's a woman centric thing. Maybe because of our circumstances, we might be better at it, because we've
Right.
gone through it in the past.
So what I hear is EQ is our tool, or EQ is our opportunity. We can either use it as a boon or a bane. It's really person dependent rather than gender dependent.
Correct.
Thanks, Archana. That's a very good thought out there. Uh, Another question I have is for Vaishali, and the reason is because she's handling such a large region. She's handling almost 25 hotels, and I'm sure she's traveling very often. You do you feel that being a woman, you've ever had to compromise on the safety security when you were traveling? And as Meena said, that there are some concerns about women entering the hospitality industry. Is security and safety one of them? If so, how can we handle this?
So I uh, I travel almost like 17, 18 to 20 days almost in a month. Okay. So yes, being a man or woman, everybody needs security. It is not that only women need security. It's this industry has changed the security completely after the Taj attack. Earlier, the security was not that what we are seeing today. After Taj attack, the hotel industry security surveillances have really gone up. And when you're traveling, okay, when you're traveling for so many days, yes, you feel that you are safely traveling and coming back home, because ultimately, yes, you want that you're working, but you work with a lot of peace in the mind. So on that basis, if I say the company takes care really by giving one benefit being a woman is, please do not travel after 7 p.m. in the evening. Okay, be at the hotel where you are, unless and until it is most urgent. But till today, I have not faced that challenge that I have to travel over there in middle of the night or something like that. But yes, when I'm traveling, my agenda is given to the company by which date or where I'm traveling, so they are knowing where I am, which will really help me emotionally if I'm stuck up. Our company as Fern Hotels, we have a policy of raise the flag as well. Okay, this is basically in case you find something which is unethical or something that is wrong, you can just pick up a phone and dial two numbers which are given. They will pick up your phone at middle of the night also. So keeping, that really helps you a lot. Okay, if I'm stuck up somewhere, there is somebody who's going to pick up my phone and give me some emotional help or some practically help. Like if you're traveling on the roads, what major safety you would need is that the car should not have a breakdown. That's the most important thing when you're traveling like to areas like forest or something. So yes, on that part, if you have a proper driver with you who's traveling and he knows you well, I think half of the problems are resolved over there. And when the women are working in the hotels, yes, as per government now there are a lot of Vishaka guidelines which are there, and that has been enforced by the government, where both the genders have got equal opportunities. Equal. Things where they can complain or they can register in case they have been harassed or they have some safety issues also. So I think this all small steps which government has also taken, okay, is really help the industry. Earlier, if you talk about in 2000s when I was working, I mean, there was no such Vishaka guidelines or no such safety, protocols taken in the hotel. Later on, when the industry started giving late drops at home, when we used to do late shifts, or now also, I mean, across all the brands, they must be giving ladies drop at night, because it is, uh, it's not sure that you will reach home safely where your parents or your family is waiting for you. And today, the hotels have really taken a strong step on that. And I
Thank
think because of this, I'm traveling for so many days.
Yes, which is why this question was particularly directed to you. And I hope this alleviates the concerns of parents who are thinking about, choosing hospitality as a potential profession for their young daughters. So they should know that a lot has changed, and a lot is in the hands of the woman herself in keeping herself safe and secure.
Yes.
And that should not deter us from taking up assignments beyond the stereotypes as we have been discussing. Thank you. Thanks, Vaishali. Okay, so the next question is for Momita. Momita, if you were to take the place of one woman leader in tourism and hospitality, who would that be?
Um, to be really truthful, I cannot take one person's name because there are three women who have actually groomed me to be what I am today, and it will be very unfair if I just take one and I miss out the two. Of course, all of us know Miss Camellia Punjabi.
Yes, of course. She's an icon.
Yes, she has a great role to play, and she and Miss Renu Basu are two people who have actually pushed me to the sales part of it. They had huge confidence in me, and of course, I would like to club Deepa in it, Deepa Misra Harris. So these three women all put together, you can imagine what has come out of me with all their, and I would really want to have all their qualities and become one. So
it's the Trimurti, huh?
then I will become the best.
Fantastic. Meena, what about you?
Take somebody's position.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris. She's not in hospitality though, yes. But of course, I mean, yes, I think the names that Momita just took, they're all very, very, I think they have been role models, even though I've never worked with them, perhaps not even met them, but I know that they have, they leave a big impression on the entire industry, not just Taj. So yeah, definitely, all of them.
So now, since I have you already on the, speaking screen, one more question for you, Meena, that you've reached a milestone, you've reached a position of impact. How are you paying it forward? I know you're doing a lot, and that's why it's important to discuss it here so that you inspire other leaders, other women to give back what they have received.
So yes, I'm not looking at this at the end. I'm looking at it as the beginning of the next journey. So I am already preparing myself. I don't know if I shared this before, but I just recently took a course from Stanford University on women in leadership, just to prepare myself for the next journey. That is how to give back to the industry, basically, that I have learned so much from, or I have lived my entire life in. So I absolutely want to do that, and I would definitely be very interested in some form of skill development and ensuring. I would really want to bring more girls into the hospitality industry, and that's a focus that I want to be working on. That's something that I seriously want to work on right now, and also mentoring girls, because I know how vulnerable they can get in the middle of their career. So I would like to take this issue up as well. I would also like to do a little. I'm not an advocate. I don't believe in advocacy for women, because I think we're all quite self-sufficient and we are all quite empowered and we know where our place is in life. But what I would like to do definitely is to kind of convey the message to all the young girls out there that, and this is again a Kamala Harris saying, like what she quotes her mother, saying that you may not be the first person to do a job but make sure you're not the last one. So leave a good, create a good work environment, safe environment for women. Not only safe, I think a healthy work environment for women, and also make sure that you take them along with you as you move up.
Thank you, Meena. So the next question is for everyone, but the rule is you have to describe it in one line, no verbosity, only one line. Archana, give us one line mantra for a girl who aspires to be you.
Excellence is the best deterrent to racism or sexism.
Excellent. Okay. So Meena.
I would say ask me my weaknesses and make sure you don't live them again.
That's a very practical advice, I must say. We have Ritu.
Be yourself, and whatever you believe in, just do it with the utmost confidence.
Okay. Vaishali.
So run your day or the day will run you.
Wow. I like that. Very simple and very usable. Momita.
The most successful women are risk takers.
Fantastic. Vandana.
Own your voice, own your dreams, and work towards them.
Wow. Okay, my version is don't be me, be a better version of yourself every day.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your attitude towards the concept of gender bias, where 10 is nonchalant, like you don't care, and 1 is threat? I'll go according to the screen. Ritu.
So 4, I would say.
Okay. Vaishali.
I'll go to 5.
Momita.
6.
Archana.
Personally, it's probably an 8, but if you see the industry and the country as a whole, it would probably be closer to 3, which is the reason why we have such a skewed gender ratio at the top.
Vandana.
I'd say a 7.
Meena.
6.
Okay. I'm going to keep mine to myself. So since I have the privilege of being the moderator, I can choose not to answer a few questions. Okay. So the next one is a rapid fire, and we have to be super quick. Only one word answers. Okay, starting with Ritu. What was your lockdown Zoom call dress code? Quick.
Western blouse. Not a sari for a change.
Yeah. Vaishali.
It was a t-shirt and a trousers. No formals. That was better thing.
Okay. Momita.
50-50. Top dressed, down not looked at.
Okay, we will not get into the details.
Yeah.
Archana.
With my 2 babies running around, preferably it was TV off. Screen off.
Okay, Vandana.
A top with the loungers below.
Then 50-50.
Yeah.
50-50.
Jacket on a night suit.
Okay, Meena, we have a very controversial question for you, and you have to answer. You're obliged to answer. Okay.
Okay.
How many saris do you own?
I don't know, but I can tell you. I can tell you that it is at least 4 suitcases now, which are not in use.
What is the size of the suitcase? That's something which is left to imagination.
Traveling suitcase, like the one that's allowed on the aircrafts.
Okay, fine. That's a very, very evasive answer, and we will catch
But
you.
Anika, you didn't hear what she said. She said 4 suitcases which are not used. So she has used saris separately.
I mean, I don't want you to think I don't have cupboards in the house.
Okay. Okay. The next one is even more controversial. Ritu, did you gain or lose weight during the lockdown?
Lose weight because I could do yoga online. So I was regular for once.
We have to connect separately.
Ritu, that shows.
Oh, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Vaishali.
Yes, I reduced weight because I was punctual on walks and exercises.
Wow, we have some great inspirational women here. Momita.
Because this industry never gives any time for yourself,
I've lost
time
10,
for
I
walk.
have lost 10 kilos.
Wow.
Wow.
I lost 9 kgs.
Wow.
Am I the only one who gained here?
So you have company, so it's okay. Meena,
I lost initially and it came back with vengeance.
that's pardonable. That's pardonable. Okay, Ritu, next one is diet or exercise. What's your mantra?
Exercise.
Vaishali,
Right.
Momita.
Both.
Archana, you are not allowed to answer this question. We have been together for over 3 years as IHCL, and I know for a fact that both of these words do not exist in your life. So you
No,
are
unfortunately,
excused.
no. Unfortunately, the luck is running out.
Vandana.
Both.
No, you're
They
supposed
work together.
to choose. Choose one for us.
Exercise first, then you need to be careful about what you eat as
Yeah.
well.
Meena.
Both irregularly.
That is 4 words, okay? Because it includes both diet, exercise, and irregularly. Anyway, we will live with that. Okay, Ritu, who is your sartorial style icon in the hotel industry?
I admire Priya Paul,
Oh, nice.
both as a hotelier and as her design sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. I would agree with you. Vaishali.
Not as such anyone. I mean,
Yourself,
no,
huh?
no one.
Okay. Momita.
Miss Camellia Punjabi.
Absolutely. Archana.
Well, I don't wear much of saris, but I thought Deepa could carry off anything very elegantly. Deepa Harris, I think she's
Yes.
very, very elegant in anything she wore.
Absolutely. Deepa Mishra Harris. Vandana.
Not from this industry, but my mom.
So lovely. What a lovely thought. Meena, how about you?
I'm just still thinking.
So I also pick up what I like, and it's quick, Nobody has such a name or something, but I think like how Miss Meena is having loads of saris, I do the same.
Oh, I should have asked you also that question. We could have had a competition here. Huh?
So Pratisha has the answer for
Anika,
this.
you can ask me that question also.
Really, Momita? Okay, great. Please. I hope you're more transparent than Meena.
Yes, I am. I have around 460 saris which I use, and the rest are all in the cupboard, in the suitcase.
Oh, wow. You
Oh,
beat me.
wow.
I think everybody in Taj also knows that.
I think I'm at the other end of the spectrum. I can count my saris on my fingers.
Same here, Archana, same here. Okay, so we will close with one serious question since we've enjoyed these hearty laughs. One quality that you feel is the key to your success, your personal success, man, woman, whatever, but your success. Ritu.
Perseverance.
Noted. Vaishali.
Dedication and quality.
Momita.
Loyalty.
Loyalty. Okay. Archana.
Humility and integrity.
Wonderful. That's what the Tatas stand for. Vandana.
Looking at the bigger picture and being focused.
Excellent. Meena.
Passion.
Passion. Excellence. Okay, so for me, it's resilience. And I think that has been the flavor of 2020 also. And we got to demonstrate this quality in truckloads in 2020. I hope 2021 brings another adjective into our life, a happier one and a livelier one and a more hopeful one. I have had an absolutely delightful afternoon talking to all of you, and I'm so grateful that you came on board and shared your experiences so unabashedly, so transparently, and again with so much of passion. I hope that reverberates with our audience and they get inspired to be on that screen a few years down the line in another such panel discussion. Thank you, ladies, for your time. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us on board.
Pleasure meeting you all.
Same
A lot of
here.
fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pratiksha.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Pratisha. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Noesis, and thank you, Engage, for this webinar. Thank you. Bye-bye.